Welcome back to the latest edition of Angelo State Coach's Corner. To kick off today's show, I'm joined by Coach Chuck Waddington. This is a first, having you as the kickoff coach, so welcome to the show, Coach.
Hey, not a problem. Thank you.
Let's talk about last week. The highest of highs, the lowest of lows, all that Shakespearean language. Tell me your thoughts on last week.
The last week and a half or so has been a struggle for us. We lost a few matches in a row and kind of had to get back in the gym and figure out what works for us, and get back to ourselves. And, we made some lineup changes, just to try to shake things up, to get us thinking about what we're doing out in the court. And it made a big difference for us on Friday and Saturday, with 2 sweeps. Pleased with the direction we're heading, but definitely want to keep going in that direction.
Right. Friday, Saturday, that was a very nice bounce back. I mean, really, from the 3 straight, like you said, made lineup changes, got back in the gym, figure out, hey, what's going on here?
Yep.
But a very nice bounce back, 2 straight, 3-set sweeps. How does that help the psyche of the team going forward?
Well, that's really what the challenge was for us. It was never the physical side of the game, it was the mental side of the game, and we kind of talked about some things that we need to do and think about on the court and how we need to be there for each other, as a team when things are stressful. And I think we have a better grasp of that kind of stuff right now. And, but again, it's baby steps forward. We're not thinking, too much beyond where we are,
right.
So.
All right. Now, everybody hears the common names of the Brianna Sotelos, et cetera, et cetera. Who are some of the unsung heroes in your mind that have stood out over the last week or so, that have really stepped up and maybe not made the kills but have been there to set, et cetera?
Well, we made some changes. We put Haley Coulter in the lineup as our other outside. She played pretty steady for us, had some nice swings. She has a real high volleyball IQ. She's a real smart player. So. And we put Tulani in the middle. We had to make a change there. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Right.
So, Mickey's played pretty steady for us. Mickey Cifuentes, and our setting has been good. Both Meg and Adara played well. Abby played well for us on the right side last week. So. Having Sun back for the weekend, we didn't have her against Tarleton, made a big difference for us as well.
Right. So now you go on the road. This next week you got a match. You come home for the Dig Pink match and then a follow-up match on Saturday. Where do you want to be sitting? What do you want to see from your team over the next 3 matches?
Well, obviously we want to win all 3 of those matches. Going to Kingsville this week is going to be tough. They're playing really well right now. They're coming off 2 big wins over Texas Women's and Commerce at their place. So. They'll be prepared for us. We saw them play in the preseason, but they've made some changes, got some kids healthy, so they're a formidable foe, and that's a hard place to play.
Right, right.
So we have to prepare for that. We're not really thinking beyond that, I'll be honest with you. There's a couple things a couple matches that following week in our Dig Pink and all that stuff, but we got to stay in the present. That's important for us right now.
Right. Well, you heard it from Coach Waddington. If you want to follow Bell Volleyball as they're on the road this week, you can follow them on angelosports.com as well. Check out the schedule for the next upcoming home matches, the Dig Pink match as well, so you don't want to miss that. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
For sure.
Come on back after the break as we continue on with this edition of Coach's Corner here on RAM TV, Suddenlink Channel 6. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Russ Howard, and I'm joined now by Coach Will Wagner, Ram football coach. A little bit of a tough weekend. Those of us that weren't able to be there, walk us through your thoughts on Saturday night's game.
Well, it started off with the rain, and I don't know if we handled it very well the first of the game. We got hit with some big plays on the defensive side that put us. They put some points on the board for them to put us behind, and then our offense was playing from behind the rest of the game, and so I think we kind of got out of our groove, and weren't able to just kind of set a routine for us and momentum. So, but it was a crazy night with the different rain, with the rain, and then no wind, and then 30-mile-an-hour gusts, and so. But there's a lot of positives that come from it, and we showed that to our kids last night, and those guys are ready to go out there and get after the Javelinas.
All right. So going forward, you're home this weekend, one of the 7 home games.
Right.
What is there anything that you are changing, anything that you are looking forward to, anything that you perhaps are wary of going into this next weekend's game?
No, I think, the most important thing for our kids is to stay in our routine. Obviously, there's some things that we got to clean up on all phases of our game, but those are easy corrected. And we go back and, it's not a lack of effort on some of those mistakes. It's just, some brain farts here and there. But, our kids responded well. We were able to correct a lot of those mistakes, and you saw the better performance in the second half. And so we're excited to be back home in front of our fans. I think that adds some comfort for our kids to be back at home and in a normal routine. And so we're excited for Saturday to get here.
Right. Now, talk a little bit about some of the unsung heroes. We always hear about the Fabers. We always hear about the Lawson Ayos, the Donovan Thompsons, Josh Green. Talk a little bit about some of those guys maybe up front on the defensive side of the ball that have really played well so far, 4 games into the season or 5 games in.
Well, definitely, especially this week, we thought our defensive line played exceptionally well. We took away a couple of their plays based on how our guys were playing and did a great job. And that starts with, at Grant Kuntz, Marcus Jones, Matt Andre, Brady Iguodaro, Michael Walling. Those guys had some huge games for us. Obviously, we had a caused fumble by Marcus and recovered by Mike. But those guys, day in and day out, go to work and do an awesome job, making plays and taking away a lot of the run game.
Right.
And so we're going to need those guys again this week with Kingsville rolling into town. But those guys each week get better, and so I'm excited to see them play this Saturday.
Right. One thing I've been impressed with this year watching this team play is the fact that you get the sense they're never out of it. They're always fighting. Yeah. It's not like they're mailing it in. Like you see some teams get down and they just go into meltdown mode, for lack of better. So that's one thing I've really been impressed with this year so far.
Yeah, definitely. And even being down, 21 points right away, we had all the confidence in the world we were going to come back. And, we had the firepower to do that on offense. And, our guys kept plugging away. There was never a negative time on the sideline that our kids checked it in. And so it's good to see from a leadership standpoint and from the fight that our kids have that no matter where we are in a game, those guys are going to keep playing.
Right. Well, you heard it here from Coach Will Wagner this Saturday, 6 p.m., First Community Credit Union Field, LeGrand Stadium. Be there. Watch the Rams take on the Javelinas. We're joined now on Coach's Corner by Coach Tom Dibron. Coach, give us a little recap on the cross-country / track and field season so far.
Well, first off with track, we're 3 weeks in, so not much going on there. Cross-country, we've had 3 meets already. We're basically finished with our regular season. Right now, all we've got left is our home meet, our conference meet, and our regional meet. So we kind of consider this the second block of our season. We've got 17 days until our home meet to really do some work and really improve, and we're ready to do that.
Right. Talk a little bit about Laban. Won 3 straight races? He won 3 straight cross-country races. How does that, for you as a coach, how does that validate, or how does that encourage you and encourage the rest of the team to know that, hey, if he can do it, I can step up and do it as well?
Well, I don't know how much it validates any of that for the other guys. It's nice to have him on the team because you've got somebody to lean on. You've got somebody that you see up front that you can try to go get with and work with. I was telling Coach Reed, I think, I can't remember another guy we've had that started the season winning their first 2 races. So nice to have him on the team.
Right.
But as far as, the other guys, they're going to have to do it for themselves.
Right. Talk about a little bit about, is it the Blue and Gold Classic that we've got coming up?
Mm-hmm.
Give us a little insight about that. What exactly is that? When's it taking place?
It's going to be October the 17th, which is the Tuesday. We'll be starting just on the southeast corner of the baseball stadium, southeast corner of the baseball parking lot, actually. And we're going to run the championship length. We'll run a 6K with the women and an 8K with the men, starting at 5:45.
So if folks want to show up and cheer on, where would they assemble to kind of see this, the beginning, the finish, et cetera? They're at the baseball field parking lot?
I'd say the easiest place is the baseball parking lot over by the Alumni Center.
Okay.
Just to the east of the Alumni Center there.
Right. So track and field, let's talk a little bit about it. What meets, et cetera, do you have coming up? I know you said you're just 3 weeks into it. What's coming up down the road?
We don't have anything until possibly the end of December. Our heptathletes and decathletes will go up to Pittsburgh, Kansas to just get they don't have a lot of opportunities to do a full multi-event indoors, so we'll try to get them one. So conference isn't their first one, but as far as the whole team goes, we won't have a meet until we get back from Christmas break.
Okay. Well, you heard it here from Coach Dibron. As always, you can visit angelosports.com, check out what's going on with cross country and with track and field. Coach, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm joined now by ASU tennis coach Chris Bezot. Coach, tell us a little bit about, been keeping up with it online, but tell us from your perspective a little bit what's been going on with Bell Tennis.
Well, we've had 2 tournaments already, and I felt like we've made really good progress from one tournament to the previous one. So last weekend we had off, so that was kind of nice. The girls got to recharge. Those tournaments really physically take it out of you.
Right.
And so, but we did have a really good week of practice, and we're excited about the opportunity coming up this weekend in Midland.
So what is going on for all the folks at home? What's going on this weekend in Midland?
So we leave Wednesday. We'll play Thursday, weather permitting. And basically it's our ITA regional. So our association puts on a regional championship every fall. So there's 8 of these throughout the country, and we have one in our region. And so all the top teams, all the top players in the region will be there, and the winner of the singles and the doubles will go on to what's called the ITA Oracle Cup, which is basically a national championship. So it's a very exciting tournament. It's the highlight of the fall, and it's why we play warm-up tournaments going into to Midland. So
now, refresh my memory. We talked several weeks ago. What happens in the spring? What happens in the fall? I completely forgot. We had a long conversation about it, but this basically, is this the fall a warm-up for the actual tennis season in the spring?
Yeah, similar to golf, we really have 2 segments. So we do have a championship in the fall, which is our regional, like we just talked about. But it's mostly individual tournaments, so similar to what you might watch on TV. The girls will be in a draw and a bracket, and if they win, they keep playing, and if they lose, they don't keep playing, and that's basically how it works. But our results do have an impact on how we might start in the rankings in the spring. So every result really counts. In the spring, we'll have what we call dual matches. So we'll play another school. So Midwestern or St. Edwards or whoever will come into town, or we'll go there and we'll play a dual match with them. And that consists of 3 doubles followed by 6 singles. And so it's basically whoever gets to 5 first wins. And you'll line up your best player against their best player, and so forth down the line.
And so that's what actually defines conference standings from.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
so, talk a little bit about tennis courts. Are they coming along? I mean, are they ready to play on now?
Yeah. So we've been practicing. We've used both facilities. We're fortunate to have 12 courts here, and the The surface is really good. Everything looks really good. We just have a few more things to fix. We got to put some windscreens up, which I think are coming in this week. And then just some minor touches, maybe some banners, some more signage, really to get them looking really nice for the spring when we host teams.
Right.
So.
Now, for fans that want to come out, fans of tennis, my daughter being one of them, believe it or not, she's really been asking me when they're going to start playing. When will be a good home match? When will be the first home match where they can come out and actually see Bell Tennis?
Yeah, so in February, right now we're scheduled to open up with St. Edward's, so that's going to be a really good one. They're ranked in the region. I believe that's February 9th. Now we may add a scrimmage or another match before that. We're about 95% done with tidying up our schedule. Being the new team on the block, it's been a little bit more of a challenge than what I'm used to, but I'm excited about the schedule. We have about 6 or 7 home contests, which I feel really good about, and all of them are going to be really good. We have St. Mary's coming to town, and they were number 1 in the region last year, and so it's going to be a demanding home schedule, but it'll be good to have some top tennis teams here to compete against.
Be a good test to see where you're at.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk a little bit about that. So, starting a program from scratch, how is that going for you, I guess, for lack of a better way to ask?
It's been great. Everybody's been really supportive. The community has been unbelievable. The folks out at Bentwood Country Club and San Angelo Country Club have been very welcoming. And, really, I don't think it could have gone better. I feel like we have a really good nucleus of players to build upon. And, hopefully in the next year or so, we can continue to build on that. And obviously there's going to be a set amount of patience that comes with starting a program and having a lot of freshmen playing right away. But at the same time, from a talent perspective, I feel like we're really not that far away from some of these teams. We've gotten to see some of the better teams these last 2 tournaments. And I think the girls see that too.
Right.
What we lack is maybe a little experience, but that'll be our job. My staff and I to put them in positions where they can gain experience very quickly.
Yeah. The good thing about this, you get to build this from the ground up.
That's
so
right.
That's a good positive. You heard it from the man,
That's right.
Coach Bizot. Check out angelosports.com to stay up to date with what's going on with Bell Tennis. Coach, look forward to the first home match. Looking forward to seeing the Bell Tennis team in action.
Thanks so much.
Come on back and join us after the break as we continue on with Angelo State Coach's Corner.
The Lone Star Conference is built on 86 years of tradition, with over 4,000 student athletes all committed to being the best on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. A conference that has crowned 76 national champions and honored over 300 academic All-Americans. A proud member of NCAA Division II, with 11 premier institutions spanning New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. This is the Lone Star Conference.
Welcome back to Angelo State Coach's Corner. I'm Russ Howard with Ram TV Sports. I'm joined now by Coach Travis McCorkle, Bell Soccer. I want to back up about a week. Last Sunday, home opener.
Yeah.
You fell down quickly, but rebounded rather well. Talk a little bit about last week's victory.
Yeah, we played Southwestern Oklahoma State. They have a player that the week before had just been named the national player for NCAA Division II soccer. So she's a good player, really good player. We had to come up with a little bit different plan to kind of address her. And in the beginning, it wasn't so great. I thought that we defensively just didn't clear a ball as well as we could have. We gave up a goal to a different player, and then later on gave up a goal to her. So it was a different match. It was a little bit of a trying to play within a different system. And, I felt like we adjusted and then eventually, prevailed and
Right.
got the win. And it was a good win, but it was a little bit of some learning curve during the game.
Going back to that, in the second half, there was a goal scored, waved off quickly because of an offside call.
Yeah.
But then it was like just a couple of minutes later, put it right in the back of the net again.
Yeah.
Talk about the resilience and the bounce back of that particular
Well, number
instance.
one, that was not offside. And I had asked the referees before the game, when a player deflects the ball like that, it is not offside. The center referee actually told me that he apologized, and I accepted it, but it wasn't very good that he took a goal away. But the importance of the mentality of our team to be able to come back, I think that that's one of the good characteristics that we've demonstrated so far, especially the young team, to not be afraid when negativity happens, that we can come back and we can react and we can still score. So that's been probably the number one trait that I've seen from this team so far that I really like, is our ability to not get frustrated and just fall apart and just say, okay, we've lost now. They've shown great spirit to come back and fight for a game.
So then you go on the road, you win a couple of very important conference matches, showed a lot of resilience, especially in the overtime win on Saturday, I believe it was. Talk a little bit about what it means to start conference play with 2 straight wins like that on the road.
Yeah, it was a different week because, normally Tuesday and Wednesday are our best days of training. We can get a full normal practice, and then Thursday we taper down a little, play Friday, then play Sunday. Because of the 7-team awesome scheduling, how difficult it can be with 7 teams, we have to play UTPB on Wednesday. So now on Tuesday, it's really light. So we really didn't get to practice at all last week. So we travel up to UTPB, play a very tough team against a different system that we hadn't played against in a 3-5-2, and I thought that we handled that well. I thought that, maybe a couple different breaks, maybe score even a couple more. And then we come back, and Thursday again can't play because it's in between, and then we travel up to Midwestern. It's a long trip. To go up and come back in one day, we didn't get home until about 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. So it was long, and we had put so much work in. I think at the end, the shot total was 24 shots for us and 10 for Midwestern. We scored 2 great goals, one being a goal from the run of play, one from a penalty kick. And there's about 15 minutes left, and we're thinking, okay, now we need to shut down shop. We don't need more goals necessarily. If they present themselves, then maybe, but just shut it down and make sure we get a shutout, because we hadn't gotten one since our second game of the year. And I'm thinking that we're going to get it done tonight. And then we give up the first goal. And then we're in the middle of changing our system, we give up the second goal. Now we're thinking, we've done all this work, and it could be all for naught. We can end up going home with 1 point or even 0 points because it's golden goal. So one mistake, you're done. And I was really happy that we left learning the lesson the easy way with the win in our pocket and not the hard way with a loss or a draw.
Right.
So again, good resilience, but I think defending is something that we've got to get better at.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. Some of the improvements in your mind going forward to continue this winning streak, what needs to be done? I guess defending is one of the things.
Defending, yeah, for sure. I think attacking wise, it's always the thing that takes the longest, and teams get frustrated. They always ask during preseason, we're not scoring enough, and I'm like, relax. It takes a while to get on the same page. Defensive stuff is more structured. So you should be able to get that right at the beginning and then continually get a little bit better, which is why teams that start off with a lot of goals, toward the end they can't score as many. It's not that your players are less skilled, but it's that other teams have improved their defending. So for us, we certainly are in that latter category. We need to get our defending to be better. And as other teams get to start to key in on Trinity a lot more, which I'm sure she's going to see this weekend, who else is going to step up? So what will Cassie Moosberger do? What will, Allie Warren? What will Mackenzie Broderick? What will those girls do to fill in if teams are double teaming, triple teaming Trinity?
Right. You mentioned a couple of names. I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, we know Trinity's leading the conference in goals. We know Cassandra Moosberger has been an incredible addition this year. What about some of the unsung players, some of the unsung heroes that don't get a lot of the pub, a lot of the press? Who are some of the ones that stick out in your mind?
Well, I think our midfield. Has done a really good job. I think that, talking about young players again, Avery McNamee, she played right midfielder for us this last weekend. She played, a lot of minutes. I don't know how many, but she did great. Didn't look out of place, contributing like she's one of our more experienced players. She's done really well. She had a goal taken back against Fort Lewis because that game didn't count. So she's still hunting for her first official goal, but she's been fantastic. We still need to work on her defending a little bit, but she's been good. In the back, we played in a 3-5-2 this last weekend. We had 2 freshmen playing one left and one right, along with Callie Smith. And I think overall they've done very well. Now I've said we need to work on our defending, but now you're talking about 2 freshmen out of 3 starting, played 90 minutes or nearly 90 minutes. They've done exceptionally well.
Right.
I think in our midfield, I think that Annalise Watson is always the rock in there for her defensive contribution. And then I think the other one is probably Liz Rodriguez. She's done very well. She's scored a few goals this year, and then Morgan's done really well in there too. She hasn't gotten the stats, but that's not really her job. She doesn't need to do that. So she's done well to hold other teams and negate their attacking presence. So those are just a few. And then obviously Sammy Cood, our goalkeeper, she's a sophomore. She's had a really good start so far. I'd like to see us get a shutout for her too, and for her stats, and to help her get some more postseason stuff, maybe, hopefully.
Right. You're talking about working on several things. Conditioning. We obviously play in a very hot, sometimes humid environment.
Right.
How much does conditioning, because you mentioned a lot of minutes played is what really kind of generated the question. How does that play into what you do in July and August helps you in September, October? How much does that play into your strategy as a coach?
Well, it depends on our strategy. I mean, here's the thing. If you have a team, and let's say you have a very deep team, that you have 16, 17, 18 players that are all kind of close in their skill, ability, and that kind of thing, you can make some more subs. You can, sub and not really change what's happening with your team. If you don't have that skill level, now it becomes really important that the players that play the majority of the minutes have great fitness. So it just depends. I think that we're fortunate that we do have some depth to our team. But I think that fitness is really important. I think there's some players right now that are getting subbed because maybe a little bit because I'm not sure that they can go for 90 minutes. I'm not sure that they can have that same kind of impact for 90.
Right.
They maybe can have it for 15 and then they start to fall off a little bit. And so then we've got to manage the subs that way. But the base that you're going to build on for the season really happens during the summertime.
Right. Now let's talk a little bit about going forward this weekend. 2 big matches here at home.
Yeah.
Friday's the pink on the pitch. Is it
Saturday? Sunday.
Sunday's pink on the pitch. Okay.
Yeah.
Flip-flop those in my mind.
Yeah.
So going forward, 2 big home events.
Right.
Had a big turnout last Sunday for the home opener.
Right.
What are you hoping to see from crowd attendance, fan-wise, this weekend?
I'm hoping that they're going to come. I'm hoping that we can get the Pikes, that we can get the rugby team there, and we can get the club soccer team there. A lot of students, parents, etc. But we want to make sure that those stands are full. They're super comfy now. They've got the cover, the shelter, everything. So if it rains a little bit, they should stay mostly dry. But we want to have a great environment. I think that when your team maybe starts to struggle and they need some encouragement, the fans can really lift their spirits and give them that little boost for a couple minutes or something. So, we played WT on Friday night. They had a terrific result against Commerce, I think, which maybe some people saw as a little bit of an upset. And so WT is a good team. I've been saying that. They were my preseason #1 pick in the year. So, I think that they're a good team. And then we turn around and play Eastern New Mexico, who just picked up a 2-0 win against TWU this last weekend. So both teams have proven they can win. We've proven that we can win too. So hopefully we start being real consistent with our performance. Maybe our defense get a little bit tighter, a little bit stronger. And hopefully we come away with 2 wins this weekend.
Right. Well, you heard it here from Coach McCorkle. Bell Soccer this weekend, Friday and Sunday. Check out the times, angelosports.com. And for any roster updates, any stats, all that, you can find on angelosports.com. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Don't forget, this weekend, pink on the pitch, as well as a home game Friday night. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Coach's Corner. Come on back and join us next time as we sit down with Angelo State coaches.